Backing up your files is critical, especially if you have files that you don't want to lose or you can't lose. So in this video, I'm going to show you a free backup solution that doesn't require any money and it is easy to set up with a program called veeam. To get the software for veeam or the backup program, all you have to do is go to the description down below, register an account on veeam, and then just click the link again so it just takes you to this website directly. Then from here, just make sure that you download the standalone veeam agent because this is what I'm going to focus on. This is also free, the first option, but I don't know how to use this. I've never used this before, so I'm going to focus on the second option. If you obviously want to explore the first option, you're free to do so. So just download the second option, save it on your desktop, and I'll show you how to set this up. So once you actually download veeam, what you might get is you might just get a zip file. All you have to do is just extract this application to your desktop, or just basically just drag it out, just drag it into the middle, and then just if you click again, it will just basically take you through the installation. Right, and as soon as it basically finishes, all you have to do is just press finish. Okay, so to set everything up, we actually need to create something called a recovery media. Now this is actually pretty fun. Why? If you actually get this image and you basically plug it into another computer, what that allows you to do is basically to have another copy of your previous computer with this image, and you also have all your basically systems, all your files, and everything you had on your previous computer by this image. Right, so just click next. Now on the image path, if you want to store it somewhere else, like on your NAS, you can actually do this by clicking this option and just putting the credentials of your NAS or of your drive that requires access. I'm just going to leave it here where it is. Next, create, and this is just doing its basically processes, so just leave it for about 2 minutes. It shouldn't take too long, just leave it and then we can process to the next step. Right, so once we actually have the recover media, all we have to do is just press finish and we can actually proceed to the veeam agent, which allows us to back up files on Windows. Right, so if it doesn't start for you, just start veeam agent for Microsoft Windows, just start it. Press yes, and from here what we can do is we need to create a new job, which basically just is basically how you want to back up your files, where and when. So we can name our job. I'm just going to call it backup. I'm going to call it backup. You can obviously put some extra details if you want to. Press next, and then from here what we need to do is we have 3 options and we need to select which backup we actually want to. Now I'm just going to explain all of these 3 options and you should decide which one is the best for you. So the first one is entire computer. Now this technically is probably the worst one because I personally don't want my whole computer to be backed up, as some of the files are technically useless to be backed up. So I would say if you really want to, and if you're lazy, just select the whole computer, but this obviously will require a lot of storage to back everything up. The second one is volume, or basically drives. So for example, if you have maybe 5 drives and you want to back up all of these 5, then you can select the second option, and then what you can do is you can select, for example, a whole drive. And the third option, which technically is the best, but also you need to be very careful, because if you don't select the specific folder and you have important files on it, it's not going to back it up, right? So for example, if I select the third option, and as you can see, you need to select from here, either you can select the whole drive, or if you want specific folders, you need to select all the folders that you want to back up, right? So make sure if you're selecting the third option, right? So I've selected my folder. As you can see in the right corner, it actually tells you the total size of the backup. This is important because if your backup is too big and you don't have enough storage, this tells you, right, so either you need to get more storage or you just need to delete some files, right? So make sure that you keep a track of this so you know how big your backup is, right? Click next. Once you're satisfied with the files that you want to back up, click next. And then from here, you have 3 options. So what we've got is we've got basically where you want to back up your files. So we got local storage, so like another folder or an external drive. Shared folder, so like if you have a NAS or basically a additional like a server that you want to back up your files to, you can do that through here, or a veeam backup repo, which I'm not exactly sure how to set up. Now I just wanted to quickly make also a disclaimer: if you have a NAS or some kind of external device that requires credentials, you also need to remember that just in case you don't have access to your credentials or your password manager, think about recovery, right? Think about emergency recovery. Just in case you don't have access to your passwords, what are you going to do? Maybe save it on your phone, or maybe some USB drive, just in case something happens that you don't lock yourself out. Okay, so the next step is basically we need to select where we actually want to back up to. So I just select it on my desktop. Obviously, whatever works the best for you is you should select or do it what works for you. Now also we've got an important option here. It says keep backups for 7 days. What does this mean? Basically what this means is if you set it to, like, for example, 90, days, what this will do is we'll keep backups up to 90 days. After 90 days, it will start deleting from oldest backups to basically the newest backups, right? So for example, if you want to keep a backup of your files all the way for a year, all you have to do is just keep it for 365 days, and that is a year, and obviously will keep up all the 365 days of your backups. Now, one thing I recommend doing is if you actually come to advanced and you have an option, it says here backup. Now, by default, it will be weekly. You don't really want it to do weekly because it will just take too much time. So what I recommend doing is just set it monthly. Now, you can actually set it which day you want it to be. So for example, you can set the first Monday of the month. So what this will do is it will just create a backup on the first Monday of the month, right? And that will do a backup. And then if you actually did change it to monthly, I recommend changing the keep backups for to maybe like 90 days. So you have basically extra backups so nothing's broken. Just keep it to maybe either, as I said, like 90 or maybe 60 days. Also, if you want to password protect your backups, all you have to do is just come to storage, enable backup file encryption, and put your password in. Obviously, remember to save your password and maybe even give a hint where to look for and stuff like that, right? Now here, what we have is we actually need to select when you want to back up, right? So what I've got here is I recommend setting what time you actually want it to be or when your computer is running. Also, what you can actually do is you can actually allow the computer to start automatically to back up, and then you can either set it to run or just basically shut down, right? So for example, when you're away and you don't really use your computer, maybe during the day or something, you can actually select it. Now this will be a summary, so just check if you have selected everything correctly. Make sure that the items or the folders or the drives are selected here. If not, then just go back and select it, right? So just obviously make sure, because if you don't do this here, it will basically not back the things up, right? As soon as you're done, just select run the job when I click finish. Now, once you actually finish, you're going to get this agent or this menu, and this menu is actually very important because this is your sort of control panel that shows you all about your backup. So if the backup is successful or was there any errors and stuff like that, right? So if you actually come to the panel and you click on your backup, if you want to restore files, all you have to do is just click here, press yes. And as you can see, this is basically my backed up files. If I come to users, cookies, desktop, and this is the folder, right? So as you can see, these are all the files that have been backed up. And if I go to the folder and if I open up the folder, as you can see, there are the exactly same files as the backup, and the size actually checks out as well. So basically it is working. Now, another way to access an old backup or overall how to restore files is if you actually come to the backup folder, and as you can see, there is this basically file, right? If you hover over it, tells you like veeam backup replication full backup file. If you hover over this one, it doesn't really tell you anything, right? So if you click on this one, click yes, and as you can see, it actually allows you to choose which backup do you want to launch, right? So I'm actually going to choose the latest one. So this is the latest one, and as you can see, I can easily access the files, and this will be the backup from whichever time it was created at. This will be the backup, right? So that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to learn ethical hacking from me, go to the description down below. There will be a link for you, and there's a ready course for you to start learning ethical hacking or cybersecurity from. And peace. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and thank you for watching.